Slavery, a dark stain on human history, has haunted civilizations for centuries. It is a complex and painful subject, often shrouded in myths and misconceptions. One of the most pervasive myths is that slavery was solely a European invention perpetrated against Africans. This is simply not true. Slavery has existed across continents and cultures, with perpetrators and victims from diverse backgrounds, from ancient Mesopotamia to the Roman Empire. From the Islamic world to the Americas, slavery has reared its ugly head. It is crucial to understand the full scope of this heinous institution, beyond the familiar narrative of the transatlantic slave trade. This essay aims to shed light on the untold history of slavery, exploring its various forms and challenging the notion that it was confined to one race or region. By confronting the uncomfortable truths of the past, we can better understand the present and work towards a future free from all forms of oppression. Only by acknowledging the shared history of humanity, both its triumphs and its failures, can we truly move forward together. The transatlantic slave trade, spanning over 4 centuries, remains one of the most horrific chapters in human history. Millions of Africans were forcibly removed from their homes, transported across the Atlantic in deplorable conditions, and subjected to unimaginable cruelty. While European powers played a significant role in this tragedy, it is crucial to remember that they were not the only actors involved.
African rulers and traders actively participated in the slave trade, often capturing and selling their own people to European slave traders.
The demand for slaves in the Americas fueled a lucrative but morally bankrupt system that enriched some at the expense of millions of innocent lives. The transatlantic slave trade was a global enterprise with tentacles reaching across continents. It left an indelible mark on the Americas, shaping its demographics, culture, and economy. The legacy of this dark period continues to haunt us today, reminding us of the devastating consequences of greed, racism, and indifference to human suffering. While the transatlantic slave trade is widely acknowledged, the Arab slave trade often remains shrouded in historical amnesia. This equally brutal system predates the transatlantic trade and lasted for over a millennium. Arab traders operating across North Africa, the Middle East, and the Indian Ocean enslaved millions of Africans, Asians, and Europeans. Driven by economic and social factors, the Arab slave trade saw Africans forced into labor on plantations, in mines, and as domestic servants. The Zanj Rebellion, a major slave uprising in 9th century Iraq, testifies to the brutality and resistance faced by enslaved Africans. The Arab slave trade had a profound impact on the demographics and culture of the Middle East and North Africa. The mixing of Arab and African populations led to the emergence of distinct cultural groups and identities. However, the legacy of slavery continues to cast a long shadow, and its impact on social structures and racial dynamics cannot be ignored. The Barbary slave trade, operating from the 16th to the 19th centuries, offers a different perspective on the history of slavery. In this instance, it was European Christians who found themselves at the mercy of North African Muslim rulers. Barbary pirates, based in the Barbary coast of North Africa, terrorized European shipping lanes, capturing ships and enslaving their crews and passengers. Thousands of Europeans from countries like Spain, France, England, and even Iceland were taken captive and sold into slavery in North Africa. They endured harsh treatment, forced labor, and the constant threat of death or conversion to Islam. The Barbary slave trade serves as a stark reminder that slavery was not limited to one race or religion, and that victims and perpetrators could be found across cultures. This often overlooked chapter in history challenges the simplistic narrative of slavery and highlights the complexities of power dynamics and cultural exchange in the past. To Section 5. Slavery in the Americas. Beyond the familiar narrative. When discussing slavery in the Americas, the focus often centers on the United States. However, the United States was not the only destination for enslaved Africans.
Most Africans brought to the Americas were shipped to sugar plantations in the Caribbean and South America. Brazil alone received over 4 million enslaved Africans.
The brutal conditions on sugar plantations led to a constant demand for new slaves. Slavery in the Americas also included Native Americans enslaved by Europeans and among themselves. Section 6. The Abolitionist Movement, a Beacon of Hope. Amidst the horrors of slavery, a powerful movement emerged, dedicated to ending this inhumane practice. The abolitionist movement, fueled by moral outrage and a belief in the inherent dignity of all human beings, gained momentum in the 18th and 19th centuries.
Led by individuals like William Wilberforce in England, Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman in the United States, and Olaudah Equiano, a former slave who became a prominent abolitionist writer, the movement challenged the very foundations of slavery.
Abolitionists used various tactics, from writing pamphlets and giving speeches to organizing boycotts and helping slaves escape through the Underground Railroad. Their tireless efforts, often facing fierce opposition and personal risk, ultimately led to the abolition of slavery in most parts of the world.
The abolitionist movement stands as a testament to the power of human compassion and the unwavering belief in justice and equality.
Section 7. Slavery in the modern world, a persistent evil. While the formal abolition of slavery in the 19th century marked a significant victory for human rights, the fight against slavery is far from over. Tragically, slavery persists in various forms around the world, often hidden from view and disguised under different names.
Human trafficking, forced labor, debt bondage, and child slavery continue to plague societies across the globe, exploiting millions of vulnerable individuals. The International Labour Organization estimates that over 40 million people are trapped in modern slavery today.
These modern forms of slavery thrive in environments characterized by poverty, inequality, and weak rule of law. They operate in industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, construction, and domestic work, often hidden in plain sight.
It is a sobering reminder that the fight for freedom and dignity is an ongoing struggle that requires constant vigilance and action.
Section 9. The importance of education, unmasking the past. Education plays a crucial role in dismantling the legacy of slavery and preventing its recurrence. By shining a light on the often untold stories of slavery, we can challenge myths, confront uncomfortable truths, and foster greater understanding and empathy. Teaching the history of slavery should encompass its various forms, acknowledging the diverse experiences of both victims and perpetrators. It should go beyond the traditional narrative, exploring the roles played by different cultures and societies. Furthermore, education should highlight the resistance and resilience of enslaved people, celebrating their humanity and their fight for freedom. By equipping future generations with knowledge and critical thinking skills, we can empower them to stand up against all forms of injustice and build a more just and equitable world. Section 10. A call to action, breaking the chains of injustice. The fight against slavery, in all its forms, is a shared responsibility that demands our attention and action. We must remain vigilant, challenging systems and structures that perpetuate inequality and exploitation.
Supporting organizations dedicated to combating human trafficking, advocating for fair labor practices, and promoting education are just some of the ways we can make a difference. We must also hold our leaders accountable, demanding policies that protect vulnerable populations and ensure that all individuals have access to justice and opportunity. By working together, across borders and cultures, we can break the chains of injustice and create a world where every human being is treated with dignity and respect.
Section 11. Conclusion, embracing our shared humanity. The history of slavery is a stark reminder of the capacity for cruelty that exists within humanity. However, it also highlights the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering pursuit of freedom, and the power of collective action to overcome even the most entrenched systems of oppression. While we cannot change the past, we can learn from it by acknowledging the full scope of slavery. Beyond simplistic narratives and convenient omissions, we can confront the lingering effects of this dark chapter and work towards a future where all people are treated with dignity and respect. The fight against slavery is a fight for the very soul of humanity. It is a fight that transcends race, religion, and nationality. It is a fight that calls upon us to recognize our shared humanity, to embrace our common bonds, and to work together to create a world where everyone is free.